Sometimes I'm a little dark with my work. I like the ability to interpret chaos.
How much did you guys make from Cryptozoo?
I lost around $50,000 in Cryptozoo.
I lost $40,000.
I lost around 15,000 US dollars.
Where Coffee fucked up is by targeting me as some malicious, evil supervillain.
I lost $25,000.
$120,000.
$500,000 Australian, which is $500,000 in Cryptozoo.
I cannot personally support the hypocritical nature of his exploitation.
Over the course of the past few weeks, Logan Paul has absolutely destroyed any sort of credibility that he spent the last 5 years building up after his whole Japan debacle.
Find a dead person in the suicide forest hanging.
And now he has just released by far the worst response video in the history of mankind, which actually came out on the day after the 5-year anniversary of his historic first apology video.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize.
Do me a favor. Shut the fuck up.
At least that one was memeable. This new response video is just sad. It's just him lying his ass off and twisting the truth, taking absolutely no accountability for his actions, returning $0 of the money that was stolen from his fans, and instead choosing to deflect the blame of the crypto scam, which he is actually the founder of, onto others.
Like, I just know that I love it.
Yeah.
My developers and my team love it. Who loves it most? The kids. I think that's the most important thing we're doing. Kids are gonna care about the blockchain.
You disgusting, vile piece of garbage. Fuck you.
So we're in for quite the ride with this one. Let's get right into Logan's disgraceful attempt at damage control after being exposed for collectively losing his own followers millions of dollars.
Coffeezilla. I watched your 3-part series called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam, and like many on this platform, you have successfully used my name for views and money. While your work used to be impartial, your addiction to clicks has clouded your judgment, and you've made very real errors with very real repercussions.
So here they found the dead body, and Hey, film me! Hey, alright, film me so I can have this reaction.
I really hate to say this. I think there's someone hanging right there.
Your addiction to clicks has clouded your judgment.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Coffee, you took a shot at my reputation. So in this video today, I'm gonna be defending myself with facts, something that you have gotten in the habit of twisting as you continue to morph from an investigator to a gossip channel. Bruh. You see, Coffeezilla tried to work with law enforcement in the past, but his work was described as not anchored to truth and often speculative. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, and he's nothing more than the Keemstar of crypto and finance.
Speaking of speculation, Logan, what exactly is your source for claiming that Coffeezilla's work isn't anchored to truth and is often speculative? For all we know, you could be completely lying, or maybe you're telling the truth, but it's not like anyone actually knows because we don't know who or where you're getting this information from, because you didn't tell us. And isn't it at least a tad bit hypocritical to say that someone else's work is speculative and not anchored to truth, but then go on to call him the Keemstar of finance without actually providing any sort of firm evidence that this claim is based off of? He claims that—
So in this video today, I'm going to be defending myself with facts.
But nobody on this earth besides him knows whether that's a factual statement or not. And he completely backed himself into a corner with this one because later in this video, he also uses Coffee's work to push the blame for the failure of his own crypto project onto other criminals that he hired to work on his scam. You know, the same scam where there's proof in writing that Logan conspired to buy tokens early before his audience actually knew about the project to artificially skyrocket the price, which of course he never even thought about addressing in this video.
But as opposed to just telling you, I'm going to show you some of the core discrepancies that I caught in Coffeezilla's investigation. Coffee, you interviewed the developer who stole the game code, fled to Switzerland, and held it hostage for $1 million. Well, his name is Zach Kelling. Surely, as the internet detective that you proclaim to be, you would know that he spent time in prison for multiple felonies, one for aggravated robbery burglary, armed robbery at a liquor store, and the other for, surprise, obstructing the legal process.
No, Logan, no. How delusional could you possibly be? Why would you even include this in the video? It does nothing but make you look bad. Let's all keep in mind, Logan is the founder of Cryptozoo, so he just admitted on video that he did zero research into the people that he personally hired to develop his game and his crypto project. But then, of course, only after his followers got scammed and then Logan gets called out for it, that's when he can magically start publicly calling out the criminals which he hired to work on his project. Not before, of course. It's not like Logan's starving over there in his Puerto Rican tax haven. He can afford to pay someone to do a thorough background check on the people that he hires to work for him. If any sensible business owner hired a criminal, they would take accountability for that mistake. Logan over here uses that criminal conviction as nothing but an excuse to deflect blame off of himself. And as we keep going, just keep in mind, Coffee called him out for Cryptozoo more than a year ago at this point. The only reason why Logan is even responding now is because his video series this time around got 10 times the attention than it did the first time.
I can see why you kept him anonymous.
Who we'll be calling Z here.
I guess among many things, it doesn't surprise me that he lied about having 30 engineers and a $50,000 a week burn rate.
On my end, I have 30 engineers. I'm burning $50,000 a week.
Which, side note, is how this delusionist landed on the $1 million code ransom, but it turns out he only had 3 engineers. Wouldn't someone with journalistic integrity know their credible source had not only an agenda, but a fondness for orange jumpsuits? Or did you just hear what you wanted to hear and moved on? Because even if you're lying to yourself, Steven, you still have to believe it. And I know what you're thinking. What type of idiot would work with an unsavory individual like Zach Kelling? I guess that's what I get for trusting the team that I relied on to vet and manage Eddie's hiring process, who has turned out to be a professional con man that I have since learned fooled billionaires, the Mormon Church, the owner of the New York Yankees, and now me.
Wait, Logan, how did you know that Eddie fooled billionaires, the Mormon Church, the New York Yankees, and now you? Didn't you learn this information from Coffeezilla, who you yourself, on video, just claimed that his work is
not anchored to truth and often speculative?
Which one is it? Is he telling the truth or is he lying? Either you knew for a fact Eddie was a lying criminal prior to even hiring him, and you still chose to allow him to be the lead developer of the project, which caused your own followers to collectively lose millions of dollars, or you learned that from Steven, which you just said his work is not anchored to truth. Either way, you look like shit, and it just continues to get worse and worse as it goes on.
And surely you knew Emilio, the gentleman who supposedly let his child invest in a cryptocurrency, was allegedly responsible for 2 rug pulls before you interviewed him. So either you missed that or you knew it and failed to let the public know. Why? Because it was a clear sign that he was also untrustworthy. You seemed pretty excited when the guy told you that he couldn't hatch the eggs.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No, I'm telling you, it's just a picture.
You're kidding! You can't hatch?
You're kidding! You can't hatch?
You can't hatch?
Yeah, 1 second of research would prove that to be false, as you can definitely hatch eggs and even breed your animals.
Click on that. Oh, we got a duck.
And as you pointed out in your fine print, cross-hatching was available on ETH at one point, but you perpetuated the opposite as truth with your chest out.
Basically, nothing worked.
And by the way, guy, almost all NFTs are just pictures.
No, it's just a picture.
Okay, so first he cherry picks one person out of the thousands of victims that lost millions of dollars as a result of Logan's crypto project and deems this one person to be untrustworthy. So what exactly does that even prove? Is everyone else who lost money now a professional rug puller like Logan because this one guy who invested in the project is also a scammer? Sure, he might be untrustworthy, but keep in mind, the victims who lost money on this project that we've seen being interviewed by Coffeezilla is less than even 2% of the people who lost money as a result of Logan's project. Then he claims that Coffeezilla only said in fine print that the eggs could be hatched. The definition of fine print is printed matter in small type. Now, I'm no lawyer, but that doesn't really look so small to me. And either way, whether the eggs can or can't be hatched, that doesn't change anything. The victims still lost millions because you failed to provide any sort of actual value for the project that you sold to the people as something that would change the game.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project that I believe is going to change the game.
He then claims that NFTs are JPEGs, which is actually true, but Logan himself, in writing, claimed that this is a game and not just NFTs. Just because eggs can be hatched to produce those JPEGs does not mean it's a game, let alone a game that's allegedly gonna change the world.
And surely a real internet detective would not break criminal and civil laws in trying to get information, right? So why have you allowed the illegal recording of Jeff's phone call without his permission? And then, more like an internet criminal, post it online.
And it was interesting. It was like, this is wild.
Coffeezilla lives in Texas. Texas is a one-party consent state. So that means if one party that's a part of the conversation consents to the phone call being recorded, you can record it. Now, in California, which I'm assuming his manager Jeff lives in, the Supreme Court has previously ruled that if a caller in a one-party consent state records a conversation with someone in California, that one-party state caller is subject to the stricter laws and they must have consent. However, they've also defined a confidential conversation as one in which the parties have a reasonable expectation that no one is listening in on. If a content creator with more than 2 million subscribers is calling you and openly admitting to you on video that they're calling to ask for comment on a specific situation, in most cases, there's probably not a reasonable expectation of privacy. Of course, he doesn't explain any of this in his sad attempt at damage control, despite having access to lawyers that I don't. And that's only because he's lying through his teeth to desperately try and save his reputation, so instead he chooses to yet again twist the truth to fit around his completely false narrative.
Now, although you didn't verify any backgrounds, substantiate any evidence, took multiple criminals' words as truth, and broke laws, you still published the defamation. However, unlike you, the blockchain doesn't lie. So let's highlight some things that you did point out. Crypto King Jake stole $6 million. True or not, we had already removed him from the team when we realized he was a bad actor and his motives were purely financial. Conman Eddie, lead developer, stole $1.7 million. True or not, when we learned he was a bad actor as well, he was immediately removed from the team. While myself and Jeff sold nothing and made nothing as verified through investigation and the blockchain.
Jeff, Logan's manager, to my knowledge, never sold. Neither did Logan Paul.
I repeat, Jeff and I made no money and will never make any money on Cryptozoo.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
In fact, we only lost money trying to pick up the pieces.
Oh, Logan, you actually lost money for the project that you started? I am so sorry to hear that. Although, I'm quite confident all the victims who lost millions of dollars as a direct result of the project you founded also feel just as bad, despite the fact that the average person in the US makes as much in a year as you pay in just 1 month for rent.
$57,000 a month on rent!
Did you also lose money from rug pulling your other project, Dink Doink?
Dink doink, you're my favorite coin. Want you to dink on my face, take a doink on my chest, yeah, yeah.
Or 99 Originals, where you made more than $2 million? Or what about this Pokemon NFT project that was most likely such a terrible rug pull that you had to delete all the tweets that you made about it and scrub the entire internet of information regarding even what the name of this project was? Or what about Ethereum Max, which was a huge sponsor for your Floyd Mayweather fight, where you were confirmed to have been paid $70,000 just to promote it, which of course turned out to be a huge scam? Or what about Liquid Marketplace, which you conveniently decided to remove from your Instagram and Twitter bio after abandoning the project? Did you also lose money from Elongate Coin?
Oh good, Elongate made me rich. Elongate baby, let's go, Elongate token.
Where you're confirmed to have profited more than $110,000 for pumping and dumping that project on your own fans?
I'm sitting in the seat solely because of my fans. I love them.
Not the cap.
Or what about Fuck Elon Coin, where you're confirmed to have profited more than $115,000 for yet again pumping and dumping on your own followers? He's such a truly horrific person. None, and I mean none, of the projects I just mentioned provide any sort of inherent value to the people that bought into them, aside from the fact that Logan Paul, one of the biggest influencers in the world, promoted them. There is zero utility that makes those projects projects worth what they were selling for when Logan promoted them, and thus the people lost millions when he sold in those projects because he owned a large portion of the coins. Also, Logan could make his $60,000 a month rent payments, which he already would have been able to pay for from the money that he makes outside of crypto. It's just that he's such a greedy and disgusting human being, he has this inherent obligation to scam his own fans, and then he wants to claim that because he didn't make money from this one project, he's innocent. Like you just said, Logan.
The blockchain doesn't lie.
It doesn't, and that's why you're such a bad person.
As has been the case with dozens of crypto and NFT projects, the space is unfortunately ripe for bad actors to infiltrate projects that start with even the best intentions. Jake the Snake is no longer affiliated with Cryptozoo, and we hope the money he reappropriated was worth ruining his reputation. Con man Eddie is being investigated by a higher authority that I cannot speak on. As you can imagine, I was not cleared from legal to discuss much of this, including the legal process being undertaken and the criminal investigations going on during the fallout, but I do appreciate you calling out that rats under my nose stole the game code, millions of dollars, and left Jeff and I abandoned with no team and knives in our back. But even after 12 months of work, you've still managed to overlook one crucial piece of information. See, even though I've said it's coming so many times, you've assumed that Cryptozoo isn't being made. Who are you to decide when the development timeline ends?
Logan, it's been a year and 4 months, buddy. I actually used to be a fan of the Impulsive podcast until about 3 months ago when I made this influencer crypto scammer video, which is when I actually looked into Logan's terrible past when it comes to cryptocurrency scams. And to the best of my knowledge, not once did I hear Logan even mention the name Cryptozoo until after everyone who invested into the project got scammed. I totally understand if you're going through legal issues, but you could simply just say that if you actually cared about the victims who lost money in the process of investing into your project. But you chose not to because that would damage your reputation. Did all of those other projects I just mentioned also have legal issues, or do you selectively choose not to speak about those because you haven't been called out by someone with as large of a platform as Coffeezilla? The fact of the matter is, you're only mentioning this now about this one project, not because the alleged legal issues are magically done, it's because there's been more than 10 million views exposing you for the con man that you truly are.
I got everything stolen from me in our community, stopped promoting publicly as soon as I knew the extent of the internal issues, took all of the heat on social, and you still published a defamatory hit piece fully knowing I was innocent just so you could enrich yourself in your $10 million studio. Sharp, but deeply unethical, dangerously misleading, and illegal. I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it.
Logan, if your lawyer advised you to sue Coffeezilla based on these allegations, he's also a con man, just like you claim Eddie, the Crypto King, and the developer are. You do realize if you sue Coffee and it goes to trial, there's this thing called a discovery process where you would have to consensually provide proof to a court of law that your own fans got scammed as a result of the project you founded. That's not gonna be a good look for you, buddy. Also, Coffee most likely has media liability insurance, which would cover his legal fees, so it's not like he'd be out of pocket millions of dollars, and then even if he doesn't, he could just crowdfund the legal fees and people would pay it for him. And even in the less than 10% chance you win this alleged lawsuit, you're still gonna look like shit.
Trust me, Cryptozoo is coming. I will make damn sure of it. And honestly, it sucks that after years of personal reform, going through trials and tribulations, and busting my ass to evolve into a person that I can say I'm actually proud of. What? You led the charge to drive and monetize a narrative telling millions of people that I'm a fraud or I tried to scam my audience. That is patently false.
Of course, Logan, all the other projects which I already mentioned don't prove that you tried to scam your fans. Again, he's only focusing on Cryptozoo here when there's a much bigger picture here than just Cryptozoo. And Logan, if you're proud of the person you are today, after everything you've done to ruin the lives of the people that support you, honestly, there's no point in even living because you're living in a completely different reality than the rest of us. That's just the fact of the matter. No parent on this planet planet with any sense of self-awareness would be proud of birthing someone who unnecessarily scams their own fans out of millions of dollars. And what I'm saying might be harsh, but there's no chance that my future son even thinks about doing the things that Logan has done in pursuit of monetary gain. I've said this before, but if you're homeless, I get scamming. If you're starving, totally get it. But when you've already achieved massive amounts of success, when you make more in a month than entire towns in the USA do, there's just no point in scamming aside from a sense of greed that cannot even be described in words.
This video is mainly for my fans and anyone who's on the fence that I hope I can help understand a situation that is tremendously complex but has been oversimplified for both views and clicks. And lastly, Coffeezilla. I now know your motives with this. Clout and money, good for you, but also you're slimy as f. So I'm not gonna come on any of your podcasts. If you wanna come on Impulsive and talk about this, that's fine. You've denied my invitation multiple times. You're still invited. It can be a one-on-one. If not, we're gonna handle this ourselves while we continue to build Cryptozoo, and I'll see you in court.
And of course, he ends the video with another plug for the project, which he's now allegedly working on, and he claims that it's coming in 2023 or 2024, which is just so disgusting. I have to shower now that I've seen that. And I think the worst part about this video is the fact that he recorded this, paid an incredible video editor to edit it, watched it back, and thought, yes, this is the video that's gonna save my career from being destroyed after I financially ruined the lives of thousands of people worldwide. That is a level of delusion that I cannot even begin to conceive in my own mind. So in conclusion, this is nothing but typical narcissist behavior, trying to deflect blame off of himself and onto others, as opposed to simply just taking accountability for his actions and returning even half of the millions of dollars that were lost by his own fans as a result of the project which he founded. I predicted exactly this in writing 11 days ago, proving that Logan Paul is literally a bot, and he's nothing but a bought and sold individual who would be willing to pimp out his own mother for nothing but his own monetary gain so he can make his $60,000 a month rent payments. If you guys want to see me destroy Logan Paul again, click this video on the screen right now. That video is a banger. But that's just what I think. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it.
Why am I still getting hate? Why am I still getting hate?